Edward Mungai is my name. I'm the CEO of KCIC Group. And KCIC Group is an institution which have got a mandate of helping Kenyans, and especially young people and women to some extent, to think about climate change as an opportunity. Many times we are told that climate change is the biggest threat that is facing humankind in the 21st century. So we've taken that as our responsibility and also our duty. How can we have masses contributing in terms of resolving the issue of climate change, but in a market-based way? What does that mean? By supporting entrepreneurs, by supporting people who have ideas of what they can do with climate change and therefore make livelihoods, but at the same time, make our country to be more resilient to issues of climate change. So when it comes to, motivation, about the passion, why am I doing this and why does it give me so much joy? I think for me, it's about the history, and also the consequences of climate change. It's coming from a point where a couple of years, 10 years ago, I was struggling, to address a health issue, which was with my mom, where she had become blind, mainly because, not partially blind for that matter, mainly because of issues of, cooking in a dirty kitchen, dirty in the sense that she was using wood fuel as a source of energy. Many of Kenyan women, to the tune of 80%, are using this kind of cooking in our homes, in our kitchens. And based on that, because of what we call indoor house pollution, it leads to a challenge of, blindness, other sicknesses. And I think I was faced with such a circumstance, and I needed to look for, a solution that then would solve this challenge. And this left me with, trying to figure out how can we provide the African women, Kenyan women, with better ways of cooking, which is not wood fuel. And I can say an issue which started as a health issue, it turned out to be a climate change issue. And based on that is how then I came up, together with others, with the idea of setting up Kenya Climate Innovation Center, which is looking for solutions to the challenges that Kenyans and Africans are facing. And based on that is how then, issues of innovation, giving young people the opportunity to innovate around challenges and therefore providing solutions is how the whole idea have come up. Now, subsequent and over the years, I've seen brilliant ideas, and these ideas is what really give me a lot of joy and a lot of passion to every day, keep up waking up at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., to champion this whole idea of climate change. I think the opportunities for young people are massive. And I can tell you the only reason why I put a lot of energy, a lot of effort into this is just to, to mobilize resources that then should be able to go to the youth and to the women of this country, and also to some extent men of this country, so that then they can be able to engage and come up with solutions. And the opportunities are there. In fact, when you look at things like financing, we do have proof of concept where we just need to say, I think I can be able to do X. And if we believe in it, both of us, me and you who is suggesting, then we'll be able to give you up to a maximum of 5 million shillings. And you test it. If you fail, we are going to write a fantastic story about it. And hopefully nobody will ever try that again. But on the other side, if you succeed, then indeed we give you more money. We give you what is called seed funding. If you succeed beyond that stage, then you get commercial funding. And before you know it, Equity Bank and the big banks are wanting to put money into you. I mean, it's a conveyor belt, and us enabling that conveyor belt is one of our, our way of contributing to the societies. And I must say, it's always about ensuring that the financing that you are providing is fit for purpose. Because the unfortunate thing is that financing is not always fit for purpose. But we have gone that extra mile, looking at it from, a conveyor belt way to make sure that it is fit for purpose. Of course, there's challenges, and we still keep on seeing these challenges. One big challenge is really awareness, where we can have Wanjiko and the common mwananchi understanding what is climate change and how does it affect them. Based on that, then we create what we call demand for the services that you're providing. Remember, what I've been describing, what we do as an organization, is really playing on the supply side of things. We are providing solutions. We are providing products, services that will help you to adopt or mitigate climate change. But we also need to work on the demand for people can be able to ask for these products. Now, how do you do that? You do that by creating a lot of awareness. And that is the missing, the missing equation, the missing side of this equation in terms of this discussion. And therefore, really call for action is for more organization, for more people, to keep on championing and saying climate change is here to stay. We must be able to deal with it. And how do we deal with it? Is by changing the way we consume and we produce. And that way, if we pass that message, then on one side, I'm winning, or the companies are winning because people will buy the product. On the other side, we take care of our environment. Talking about the third challenge that I foresee as far as this work is concerned is also the policy side of things. And, we'll have brilliant ideas that are coming to us for support. And unfortunately, fortunately, we'll support them, but then the policy framework, the standard framework, is not necessarily ready for these kind of things. And truly, when you go global, or even in Kenya, you know that innovation is always ahead of policy. What that means is that we must have a listening government. We must be able, to provide that evidence, and that sometimes becomes a challenge. A challenge in the sense that we would like the policy side of things to move more faster than the innovations are moving. And unfortunately, the reality is that that's not always the case. In this case, then, obviously, we are engaging, at the presidency level, at the Vision 2030 level, at the various ministries, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Agriculture, to push these ideas, and so that then we can be able to have our entrepreneurs getting into the cycle. Of course, the fourth challenge, again, is the entrepreneurship spirit. Of course, we are told Kenyans, we are very entrepreneurial, but we need just to structure it, My take is that if we go back, to primary school and also teach about entrepreneurial skills and also talk about climate change there, this will provide solutions, will help us to solve the challenge even in a better way, because once you teach entrepreneurship in these schools, then it makes a difference. And more importantly, you even get the icing of the cake when you tell them about climate change. And when you connect the two, then we have more impact. Well, knowledge is important, and trying to share that knowledge, of course, first of all, as an organization, I think we are very deliberate in terms of our communication. Showing what is working, what is not working, sharing how people can be able to, improve the consumption and production in a sustainable way. But I think also from a personal perspective is also that I've, been doing a couple of blogs, a couple of articles in the newspapers, just, to spread the gospel, because it's truly about evangelization of issues of climate change and telling people why it matters, why we should be concerned. And I think on my social media handles, you'll be able to see, quite a bit of interesting discussions. Also when I have forums, and especially for private sector, because I truly believe that private sector is where it is going to happen. Of course, the other one is about communities and, the citizens, and trying to create the demand that I was talking about, the awareness that I was talking about. Because when you bring all these parties on board through, of course, providing them information and factual information, that makes the difference. I wouldn't say that the future looks very bright, because I would like actually to come back to today and say that today is when actually action is needed. And if we can be able to do, a couple of things today and become more sensitive, become more responsible, both as governments, as private sector, as individuals, definitely we are going to make a difference, and the future will look bright. One key thing, and my daughter keep on reminding me, that we live in a borrowed world, that we, the older people, our generation, we have borrowed this world from the future generations. And in future, we either leave it as we found it, or we make it better. So indeed, that's the call for action. And we can only be able to have that good future if we are engaged and if we are doing the right things. There is goodwill to do these good things, but we just need to actualize them. The politicians, the policymakers, private sector, civil society, academia, is all coming together to try and put mechanism how we can resolve this issue of climate change. What we just need is to, to have more actions towards that, and hopefully we can all be able to make the difference. Climate change is a problem for all of us. It doesn't matter where our location is, whether we are in developed countries, whether we are in developing countries, whether we are near the oceans, where we are in the islands. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we must all, join hands and try to mitigate from the climate change issue. COVID-19 is a perfect example of what we can do as a humanity. We are all fighting COVID-19. Now, we can also, and this is the call for action, we can also be able to put, such amount of coordination, such amount of, responsibility, and trying to work together to to defeat climate change. And I think it is possible.